Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Monday, the 3rd of November 2025. So October for stocks and bonds as rate cut odds tumble, but Bitcoin breaks 6-year winning streak. So Bitcoin not actually moving higher or with a positive for the October of this year, where for the previous 6 it has. But November opens more ominously with record low skews, signalling peak optimism is nigh. So looks like we're going to see the resumption of the Santa rally. Global money markets are flashing signals liquidity is drying up. Well, they've cancelled QT, haven't they, in the last FOMC meeting, and now we're going back to QE, although central banks now have many ways to pump in liquidity if needed. The question is whether such liquidity will reach those in need. Well, based upon the glaring evidence from 2009 to this point, the money makes its way into the banks and then into the markets. You only have to look at any monthly chart to see that. And meanwhile, Amazon pops up the Nasdaq as Fed talk toes a hawkish tone. So yeah, again, this re-emphasizing that the Fed are thinking about leaving rates unchanged for December, which won't go down too well with Trump, but the only positive is that Powell will be leaving office in January. Economic news for this week, well, it's all about the non-farm payrolls, if the numbers get released, of course, because at the moment we're still in a situation where the US government is shut down. But that's the big one of the week. Got Lagarde out tomorrow. Any other central bankers? Yeah, Bailey's going to be speaking as well. And no Fed members by the looks of things at the moment. And yeah, Bailey's out twice this week, as is Lagarde tomorrow. So there must be some banking sort of European UK thing going on there. Right, let's have a look at the markets from Friday and kick off with the Dow. So in the Dow on Friday, the market just sideways to lower and lower again on the overnight, which you can see there. Thursday failed to take out Wednesday's all-time high of 48,049. And you can see there we were sideways all morning, and then we moved lower in the cash market before we had a bit of a rebound there. Obviously, this distraction of the Fed comments now about not cutting rates in December is having a bit of an effect on the market there. In the German DAX, the market sideways to low. We've got a bit of a downtrend going there, but we're still stuck in this bigger sideways range there. If we break this, then we'll go down and retest the low to the left there. But at the moment, the market holding, despite the fact that we can see the averages switching there as well to the downside. So not really keeping up with the US markets at all, and not playing catch up at the moment either. And in the 30-minute chart, we started with a positive and then we sold off. We had a bit of a rebound, as you can see there, with the Dow futures, and then the market moving down with the US in the afternoon. Got a bit of a gap there that needs to be filled. May have been filled with this bar here, but looking weakish at the moment as well. So expect lower prices on the open when the cash market kicks off at 8 a.m. So in the S&P 500, selling around on Thursday. Friday, the market's still weak, taking out the previous day's low as well, but bouncing off that. However, overnight, we're nowhere near the high of Friday. So let's look at this in a bit more detail. There we moved higher initially, and then we see the cash market sell off before we had a bit of a bounce there. And again, we've got a bit of a gap as well that needs to be filled. So don't be surprised if we come down to the DP during today. And in the UK, we've got the market stuck in a sideways range. Like I say, I have no idea why this market is like this, but we'll see what happens after the 26th of November when Rachel Thieves, or Rachel from Accounts as she's also known, gives her autumn statement. We'll just have to wait and see how much we're going to be screwed this time. And in the 30-minute FT, you see the market moving up and then finding support at the 200 MA. Went through a bit here, but you can see the buying coming in and trying to move the market back. We filled the gap in this one as well, so that is a bit of a positive there. But I suspect if the DAX moves lower, the S&P and Dow overnight, then the FT will do so also. So have a quick look at the US dollar. So in the US dollar, we can see that we've been moving to the upside. I've drawn a line in across here just so that you can see that 100.257 is where the market's likely to find some resistance. And given that the Fed is now making comments about hawkish comments, I suppose is the correct narrative, they will also add weight to support to the US dollar as well, because if rates go up, so does the US dollar, and if they're not going to increase rates, that's enough to move the markets higher there as well. And normally that would be inversely related to the metals prices, so let's have a look at those. So Friday, the silver market was sideways to lower. It's trying to move higher on the overnight in Asia. That always worries me, because I tend to see the market then pull back from this when they have the LBMA start fiddling with the numbers at lunchtime. But at the moment, we can see that we're all again, this is, there it is on Friday. You can see the bar. It always sticks out on the chart, doesn't it? But overnight, having taken out Friday's low, we see some buying coming into the market down here. And with that, price is now above the DP. Let's see if they can stay above this, or if they're allowed to. I think is probably more the case. So in gold, also moving back to the upside there as well, having found support at the 78-89% retracement, and also the 50 EMA in the daily chart. 30-minute chart, very similar picture. Again, you can see the slam, can't you? At lunchtime on Friday was the LBMA, fixed the price, and then overnight we got a bit of a quiet session in Asia, so why not slam the price, and then we can buy lower and we can then bring it back. So that's what we're seeing there. And then back to silver there. Let's have a look at the gold silver ratio. And silver moving better than gold at the moment in percentage terms, because we can see another red candle there as the gold silver ratio moves back to 82. Like I say, it was a shame it didn't move a lot higher and go back up to that 89 level, but it is what it is. And if it's moving lower, it's moving higher in the spot price, and that's the main thing. Right, let's have a quick look through Friday's trades. So in the pre-market session during Friday, the market moving nice and strong to the upside. Again, this is a pattern that seems to have evolved, and then we get into the cash market and prices move to the downside all the way down to the low, and then move back off this temporarily. As you can see there, there's a potential buy signal, but the market fails to fill it. And then we move to the downside once more, going below the low there. And then throughout the morning, mid-morning, the Dow Futures comes on stream, and we see the market then moving down with this again, once more below the low. Very sideways as we kick off at 1:30, which just reminds me, actually, you need to reset the chart today back to 14:30 for the US markets as well. So there we see prices moving way beyond the low, and then down towards the S2 before we get a buy signal to the upside before the market closes at 16:30 is when they close. So then into a sideways pattern with a few ups and downs, and reacting to news there from the USA. So where are we overnight? Let's have a quick look. And we're already starting to move to the downside. So let's see where Friday's low was. That's where the low is. So that's a target to the downside if they do decide to sell off at the open. At the moment, we've got this indecision with the Fed with regards to rate cuts. So the market's having a bit of a pullback and a bit of a lull, as we can see there. Right, that will do it for this one. Let's see what happens during today. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.